Allbirds sent me a pair of their all-wool shoes. I put them on. They were so white and breathable and comfortable. They didn't have any fancy logos on them. They just felt good on my feet, and they were nice. They looked good, and they felt good. Do you know why? Because the most comfortable shoes in the world are made of all wool. Even Time Magazine said that. And they've got a couple styles. They've got the Wool Runner, which is your go-to lace-up shoe for everywhere you go. It's flexible, supportive, and so light. They take you seamlessly through your entire day, whether you're at work or you're playing at night. And they also have the Wool Lounger. It's breathable, lightweight slip-on shoe that's perfect whether I'm traveling on a red-eye across the country or going to see a basketball game. The comfort, style, and sustainability do not have to be mutually exclusive. Allbirds is dedicated to making stylish, comfortable footwear that uses premium natural materials designed for life's everyday adventures. Allbirds textile is made from superfine New Zealand merino wool using fibers that are 20% the diameter of a human hair. So unlike the wool you may be used to, Allbirds' breathable fabric regulates temperature and moisture without any itch. The holidays are right around the corner. You should consider Allbirds for a gift for someone on your list or, better yet, yourself. They're available in a variety of colors and styles. Pick the perfect pair at allbirds.com.
Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood. Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, dog?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
And we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
I know your mentions blew up yesterday in the third quarter during the Spurs and Warriors games. I know your mentions exploded because Zaza Pachulia slid his foot underneath Kawhi Leonard intentionally, and hurt Kawhi Leonard just as you had done to Kobe Bryant in the 2000 finals. So not only are you the senior statue analyst in the world, you are the senior slide your foot under a jump shooter and hurt them analyst in the world. Did Zaza Pachulia intend to hurt Kawhi Leonard?
I don't know if it was intentional, but it was flagrant. And I have to make sure I stress, I don't think what I did to Kobe Bryant in 2000 was cool. I don't think it was cute. I don't think it was fly. Now, I do think the landscape of the world wouldn't change much if I had 1 championship and he had 4.
No, your attitude would, but the landscape would. No.
The second part of that is after the game, I wasn't asked about it. The next season, I wasn't asked about it. I didn't get a hard foul the next year when we faced the Lakers. Nobody knew anything about it. I felt like I owed the world to share that story because my basketball karma caught up with me 81 times as a member of the Toronto Raptors.
Great point.
So with that being said, again, take the emotion out of it. Yes, if you're Coach Pop, there's a level of anger there.
Oh, he's
If
mad.
you're Kawhi, I appreciate the fact that he tried to take the high road. It's an intentional foul. It's a flagrant foul in the NBA. That's how it should be called. That's how it should be attributed. Yeah. No different than when players used to go up for jump shots and somebody try to contest my jump shot, and then I'll follow through with my forearm and my elbow and try to knock their teeth out. It's no different. I think that should be called the exact same way, and it isn't in today's game just yet, and that's unfortunate for Kawhi Leonard.
I believe Zaza when he says he was not intentionally trying to injure Kawhi Leonard. I don't think that he has the laser point precision to perfectly slide his foot underneath Kawhi's already injured left foot, but I do think Zaza intentionally slid further into Kawhi Leonard, making it uncomfortable for him. I think that he intentionally was in Kawhi Leonard's space as he was landing to make him uncomfortable and to potentially have him land on his foot. But you know who doesn't agree? Coach Popovich. Here's what he had to say about Zaza and Kawhi.
The play where he took Kawhi down and locked his arm in Dallas and could have broken his arm. Ask David West, his current teammate, how things went when Zaza was playing for Dallas and he and David got into it. And then think about the history he's had and what that means to a team, what happened last night. A totally unnatural closeout that the league has outlawed years ago.
What do you think about Greg Popovich's livid rant?
It's accurate. And again, I'm shamed that I'm a player that actually committed that such act. And having that level of guilt allowed me to release that information to the public. Here's what he means by unnatural basketball move. There's the level of contest where it's intentional that you're trying to do what you can to affect the shot. Then his foot stops. Then his foot continues to progress.
The second shuffle.
Now, the one things that athletes know is their bodies better than anyone. And you know what else we know? The dimensions of the court and the scouting report of the other players. And usually what takes place is we just saw one individual twist his ankle basically 3 times within the last 5 days. And so Coach Pop has a right to not only be upset about it, it is something that the league has tried to legislate against, but just like flops or anything else, this has to be taken with that level of action. It's a flagrant foul. It's a flagrant 2. It need to be called as such.
I have to ask this question. What did your mentions look like right after it happened?
Actually, I didn't look. I was on national TV. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I was doing ABC.
Please.
You know, you
I
think
know
I'm
you
looking
check,
at
you
my
check
phone
your mentions.
and my
you
mentions?
check your mentions, please. Please.
I do check my mentions, but here's the thing. After the countdown show, I got a chance to check my mentions. After the halftime, I got a chance to check my mentions. But then after the situation happened in the second half, it was chaotic in the building. Remember, the San Antonio Spurs were thumping the Golden State Warriors. Mm-hmm. They held them to a season low in points, a season low in field goal percentage. Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge were having their way, and they were rolling up 23. Yeah. So I was basically a function of the building. I'm looking around, and it actually crossed my mind for a hot second, like, is this a 7-game series? Like, are the Spurs doing something that we haven't seen? Are they going to shock the world? And then all of a sudden, Kawhi gets injured. And so I understand the level of frustration and disappointment, not only for fans of the game, but obviously for anyone associated with the Spurs.
So you're Greg Popovich. You're done sounding off on Zaza Pachulia. You go back into your lab. You're looking at the film. What do you do? What do you change for Game 2?
It's not much to change because their bench gave terrific production. Manu Ginobili still continues to play well, along with Jonathan Simmons. You didn't get good shooting from Patty Mills and Danny Green. LaMarcus Aldridge was terrific in the first half. I think he got gassed as the game waned. You hope in this game you're going to get more from Pau Gasol. But again, the Golden State Warriors are going to be better in the next game. A season high combined points for KD and Curry, 74. Single digits for Draymond and Clay. I think that's going to improve. The one thing you watch for is Andre Iguodala play limited minutes. Coach Mike Brown said it was because of matchups. I'm hearing that he's getting his knee looked at and getting an MRI on his knee. So it remains to be seen what's going to take place with his health. And there's a big difference between the Spurs waking up today being up 1-0, which would have happened had Kawhi not gotten injured, versus being down 0-1 going into Game 2, no Kawhi Leonard, no Tony Parker.
If you look at the roadmap for the Spurs to upset the Warriors, one of the things that they have on their side, in my opinion, would be the coaching advantage. It would be, you have Greg Popovich, going head-to-head with Mike Brown in a battle of strategy. However, one thing that's been overlooked in all this Kawhi Zaza stuff, Steve Kerr is back. Steve Kerr was back in the building. He was addressing the team at halftime. He was there the entire time. What sort of an impact does the return of Steve Kerr have on the Warriors?
See, I've actually heard this dynamic being discussed a few times, and I don't want to come off insensitive because me more than anyone, I hate the fact that Steve Kerr can't coach in this series. He's been terrific for the game, not only as a champion, but as a coach. I appreciate that he sounds off on political views and social conscious items other than basketball. But what he said at halftime didn't mean as much to the basketball team's fortunes as Kawhi Leonard getting injured in the third quarter. Because had he been playing, I think they still would have won the basketball game.
You think it was the injury of the other team's MVP candidate and best player that led to the turnaround of the Warriors, not the inspirational speech by Steve Kerr at halftime, Jalen?
When the media look for storylines, I'm like...
You think it was the MVP candidate going down? You know who's happy?
I know what I got to say. I know what I got to say for media members. May the force be with you.
You have no idea what that means. One thing about this is another thing people are overlooking is Kawhi Leonard was injured on the previous possession in the exact same spot when he stepped back after hitting a three and stepped on the foot of one of his teammates. Is that teammate now a little bit happy that they're off the hook for injuring their best player?
Well, they're not off the hook anyway. As assistant coaches, as a coaching staff, as other players on the team, you go thump that guy in the ear. Remember when people used to do that to you when you were young? Like, what are you doing? Let me tell you something. When Kawhi Leonard shoots a corner jumper, here's what I want you to do. I want you to be holding a Gatorade at all time. You pass it to him like he's David Jacoby running a 26-mile marathon. Allow him to take a sip while he runs back on defense. That's what you do. You have a towel in your other hand, you wipe off his forehead, and you pat him on the backside, and you get all the way out of the way. That's what we want for all of you guys sitting down here.
Blue Moon is brewed with Valencia orange peel and a touch of coriander. It's a creative twist on a Belgian-style wheat ale for a taste that shines brighter. Taste responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
While everyone's talking about the Warriors and the Spurs and the Wizards and the Celtics, guess what? The Cleveland Cavaliers are just there on their Versa climbers, just dancing around at practice, just drinking their wine, watching some basketball. Ty Lue says that the players are getting a little antsy, a little anxious. My question for you is this, Jalen. Do you remember when we were talking about all the minutes that LeBron was playing and how he was leading the league in minutes and he was going to wear down during the playoffs? Can all of this rest offset the workload that he had during the regular season?
It doesn't need to, because they did a good job of managing it throughout the regular season. People overlook that LeBron James averaged more rebounds and assists than he has at any point of his career. In his 14th season, this is arguably his best one. And when you talk about his efficiency, not only from the field, but from three-point range, he continues to improve in the playoffs as a free throw shooter. This is the most dominant I've seen LeBron James. So the minutes during the regular season are on average. They don't take into account the fact that he did rest a handful of games. In the playoffs, yes, you can play him average minutes a lot more when you anticipate if they taking care of business, they should sweep the first round. Wally's. They should sweep the second round. Ting, ting, Tombo. And all of a sudden now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals watching and waiting the Wizards and the Boston Celtics to play it out.
So people talk about this all the time, and you've played in the NBA, you've played in the playoffs, you've been in the locker room, I have to ask you this question. Rust versus rest. They're not even scrimmaging the Cavaliers. They're not even playing 5-on-5 basketball. Is there a way that all this time off could hurt them?
How the time off hurts you, Draymond Green alluded to it post-game yesterday. How the Spurs came off a series where they were hitting on all cylinders, playing without Kawhi Leonard, winning at Houston. Now you get him back. They were the faster, fresher, more enthusiastic team in the first half. And Draymond acknowledged that he was gassed. He was looking for a second win. That's where it can hurt you. But for the most part, when you're the Cleveland Cavaliers and you have two of everything like Noah's Ark, they'll be just fine in the Eastern Conference.
They'll be fine. You alluded to the Houston Rockets, who were eliminated by the Spurs, and you have the exit interviews and you do the autopsy on the season. You find out places to improve, and then you talk to the press. Your former head coach, Mike D'Antoni, talked to the press, and here's what he had to say about next year in Houston. Quote, defensively is where we're going to make our most strides, and again, we are talking about being a top 10 defense. That is the key. I guarantee we will get better. What do you think of your former head coach Mike D'Antoni's new focus on the defensive end of the game?
You can't win at an elite level if there's zero focus on the defensive end. You can't walk into a locker room and write 120 points on the board and say if we score this number, it doesn't matter who we play against, we're going to win the game. And so that's a change in philosophy that it will be interesting to see if they're able to institute it, because I know that changes the dynamics a lot of that style, which means you're not shooting as early in the shot clock. Maybe more mid-range shots, maybe more post-up plays, maybe more opportunities to get to the free throw line, which slow down the game. So that does have a different effect on how the team institutes a pace and space type of play. So that remains to be seen by me.
At the NBA Combine, New York Knicks president of basketball operations, Phil Jackson, was in front of microphones again and saying ridiculous things. Here's what he had to say about Carmelo Anthony and his future with the Knicks franchise. Quote, "We'd just like him to have success somewhere. We're not going to be there. Hopefully, we'll maybe be a playoff team next year. It would be tough to consider us a possible champion." What is he doing? Why does he keep doing this?
So for those that get upset by Phil making comments, let me pull you behind the curtain and give you a three-pronged way to think about this. James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, Phil Jackson, the president of basketball operations, and Carmelo Anthony, future Hall of Famers, they're stuck together. And that's how they wanted it. What is everybody thinking? James Dolan knew that people were going to protest his ownership. Then he hired Phil. Gave him a big-time deal. I'm turning everything over to the 11-time champion. Phil now goes and gets Carmelo Anthony to re-sign. He didn't want to leave New York and take a haircut. He stays in town. He says, I'll play for you guys even though we're not a championship contending team, because they weren't. But you got to give me a no-trade clause. Of course we'll give you a no-trade clause. Then we draft Porzingis, and everybody's happy. The Knicks have a future. And then you look back at the Eastern Conference and you look down at the other rosters, and a couple of things come to mind. There's a level of ownership by Phil Jackson that he wasn't able to build something around that dynamic. And two, Carmelo Anthony showed that he can't currently be the best player on a championship level team. No. And so because you won't get true value if you're able to open it up and trade them to all 30 teams in the league, when you know you only can trade them to the Clippers to play with Chris Paul, which if he leaves this offseason, that would probably be his likely destination. So the bottom line for Carmelo, since he's in control of his destination, he would approve a trade to go run with the Clippers and his good friend Chris Paul, or if he can so happen, fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers and gets a chance to run with LeBron James. But other than that, it's a moot point. Because when you look down at the Forbes list of most expensive franchises in sports, in particular the NBA, the New York Knicks in the basketball category usually fall number 1 or 2. So who's the fool?
It's so depressing. Everything Phil Jackson says just angers me. And then nothing angers me more than this. When they started asking him about Kristaps Porzingis, he was like, I don't want to talk about that. If I was Phil Jackson, that's all I would talk about is Kristaps Porzingis, because it's the only thing that he has done right since he has been with the franchise.
Yep. Blue Moon is brewed with Valencia orange peel and a touch of coriander. It's a creative twist on a Belgian-style wheat ale for a taste that shines brighter. Taste responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
The NBA Combine has gotten a lot of attention. Some people are attending, some people aren't. Everyone's weighing in. But there's this one detail I want to discuss with you. Players who do attend the NBA Combine get a big package of goodies. In this package of goodies are official NBA pajamas, which leads to this very important question. Are pajamas a soft move or a boss move?
Boss move.
Really?
What? You're extra comfy if you're wearing pajamas. You're on your Thurston Howl. All you need is a smoking jacket or a robe. No doubt. It's a boss move.
I like home leisure wear. Like, I'm a big fan of being comfortable in your home. I do not wear the same clothes out of my home as I wear in my home. However, there's something about wearing matching head-to-toe patterned clothing when you're over, 6 years old that just feels a little bit weird. Like, do you really wear pajamas, Jalen? I'm going to guarantee that you don't.
I wear pajama pants.
But you don't have a full matching set of pajamas in your house?
I actually do.
Do you ever wear them?
I do.
I have to break some news to you, Jalen Rose. Pajamas are a soft move. They are. They're a soft move. Any clothing that you wear that's the exact same thing that your 2-year-old son wears, it's a soft move.
Well, that's only if your son wearing silk pajamas.
Silk, too hot, uncomfortable. That's definitely a soft move. Tom Brady is back saying things, and here's what he had to say about where he matches up with who many consider to be the best quarterback that ever played the NFL, Joe Montana. Tom Brady says, quote, "I know myself as a player. I'm really a product of what I've been around, who I was coached by, what I played against in the era I played in. I really believe a lot of people were in my shoes. They could accomplish the same kind of things." Sit down, be humble. Do you believe Tom Brady when he says these things?
I do, and that statement from a 5-time Super Bowl champion, fellow Michigan alum, if you flip that and put it into Derek Jeter's voice, you would have thought that was a 5-time World Series champion. Because the reason why both of those guys are adored is not only by their production on the field, but how they behave and the humility that they carry off of it. And so from that, literally, while you was giving me that statement, as I saw Derek Jeter get his number retired at Yankee Stadium, those two individuals have the exact same mentality that playing for the Yankees, I'm just thankful. There's been a lot of all-time greats. I'm the final single-digit number to be retired. I got a chance to play with some of the best players in Major League Baseball for 20 years. That's exactly how Tom Brady's expressing himself being a part of what Bill Belichick has built with the New England Patriots.
Jalen, you just made a great point. You made a great comparison with those two people that also went to your university. That all makes perfect sense. However, allow me to go negative, as I do. Tom Brady has told us that he's never tasted a strawberry. Tom Brady tells us that he doesn't drink coffee. Tom Brady tells us that he doesn't drink alcohol. Tom Brady tells us he does cognitive exercises before he goes to bed at 9 p.m. I don't believe any of that. I also don't believe that Tom Brady is so humble that all of this success is really just anybody. You can put anybody for quarterback at the New England Patriots. It doesn't matter. I'm not the greatest of all time. I think Tom Brady eats strawberries, drinks alcohol, stays out past 9 p.m., and while he's doing those things with his friends, he tells his friends, if you gave me Jerry Rice and Roger Craig, I would have won 10 Super Bowls. I am so much better than Joe Montana. I can't believe they even compare me to that man. That's how I feel Tom Brady feels on the inside, and much like Derek Jeter, I feel like Tom Brady and he have cultivated this perception of who they are, which is very much a curated look into their life, and their real feelings are different than what they show us here in the media. Don't you think there's a piece of that that's true?
That's why you're in control of your narrative. That's why the team name on the front is shared by everybody in uniform. The name on the back is the one you carry. So because of that, I have 4 words for you. Sit down. Be humble.
That's fair. Drake made an appearance at his cousin's prom in Memphis. He chaperoned his young second cousin and his date. It made a big scene. He flew down there. It just seemed like a really nice thing for Drake to do for his cousin. I just thought it was really cool. But I have this one question. If you were the cousin, at some point during the night, are you like a little upset because Drake is taking all the attention away from you?
Not at all. You knew that was going to happen when you brought Drake, and you welcome it. And it's not just for the cousin. How about for the city? How about for the school? How about for so many people that got a chance to meet not only Drake, but attend a prom with him? That's an awesome experience.
TMZ Sports caught Jordan Clarkson outside of one of the hot spots in Los Angeles, just hopping into a vehicle after a night of whatever he does at a club. He wasn't alone when he went inside this vehicle. When asked about sort of his love life and his ex Kendall Jenner, he was piling some young ladies into the back of the car, and he looked and twice told the TMZ camera that he's a player. He is a player. Calling yourself a player, soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Explain.
Because that term has a lot of connotations. It doesn't necessarily have to have a negative one as it relates to the relationships that you endure. In this case, the people that he was getting into the car with. I played 13 years in the NBA as a professional basketball
player. Oh, I see what you did there. Finally, we have this piece of news. Eddie Lacy just received $55,000 from the Seattle Seahawks because he weighed in under 255 pounds at 253 pounds. I know this means a lot to you because Eddie Lacy once ate his way into completely submarining your fantasy team one year, costing you $10,000. Yes. So my question to you is this. Should athletes be paid for staying in shape?
No, we talk about this a lot. About how athletes, we have found a way now to get credit for things that we're supposed to do, like not hang out all night before the game or to stay in shape, or he actually had what it takes to talk to the media after a tough game. Here's the thing about this. They're purchasing the conscious in this case. It's low-hanging fruit when you lose beast mode to bring in feast mode. That's just low-hanging fruit. Now, since we know he's out of shape, you're gonna navigate the relationship publicly by showing us that he's constantly getting in shape as the season progresses. So now when the season starts, we won't talk about him as the out-of-shape player. We're going to talk about him as the good signing that they're going to be able to use in the red zone. Again, it's all going to be based on his production. Is he going to be a guy that's effective when they give him the football? We shall see.
That feast mode joke really got me. I had not heard that one before. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. As we do on days when we are preempted on radio and we have a television show only, we have to give the people what they want. And this is our favorite type of people, our podcast listeners, our loyal, everyday podcast listeners. We will always give you what you want by recording specifically exclusive content just for you. If you tweet us at Jalen and Jacoby, we'll answer your questions. Also, if you call 985-80-JALEN, we'll listen to your voicemails. Let's listen to the first one. Thanks, Reg.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Donnell from Chicago, but representing the United States Navy out here in D.C. Couple things. One, I noticed that Jalen was now doing 5-hour energy promotions. That being said, Jacoby, when am I going to see you getting picked up to be the face for one of these minivans? My second question, in regards to the Jaja Pachulia foul on Kawhi Leonard. If it was anybody else, say Draymond Green, who committed that foul, would it have been looked at as a dirty play? Want to know what y'all think? Get back at me. Appreciate what y'all do and get them checks. Peace.
Big shout to you, Darnell, in Chicago.
Big shout.
Shout out.
And thank you for your service in the Navy.
Absolutely.
What up, though, in D.C.?
So I'll answer his first question. I'm excited for Jalen doing 5-hour energy promos. I think that's excellent. I think that I'm a natural fit for a minivan promotion. Yep. However, I'm going to the highest bidder. You know, I'm a loyal Chrysler Town and Country driver. I got my eye on that Pacifica, but I will switch to whatever car company wants to write me whatever check and provide whatever vehicle. I will be loyal to somebody else real quick, and I understand that is an oxymoron.
Preach.
Second question is for you, Jalen, about the Zaza Pachulia play on Kawhi Leonard. Had it been someone else, do you think it would be considered dirty?
I truly want people to know, take the emotion out of it. The bottom line is I felt it was intentional, and it should be called as flagrant in today's game.
I think that's fair. Yep. Thank you so much for the call, Darnell. Let's listen to another voicemail.
What up, Del? It's your boy Ty in North Dakota. Gotta say, I've been listening to your guys' show for a long time, and I love the show. One thing I really like about your podcast is that you don't just talk about sports. You talk about all kinds of things. And I especially key in when you guys talk about business or career. And I think you have some really good advice when it comes to those matters. One thing I really like is plotting your promotion while appreciating your position. Love that. That is great advice. My question for both of you is that as busy professionals, what is your strategy, or what are some things that you do to stay on top of a chaotic schedule with lots of tasks, lots of moving parts? Because I'm in a new position right now, and it's madness. I'm busy, working 16-hour days. I need your help. Help your boy out. We got love up here in North Dakota. We're listening. All right, keep giving the people what they want. Keep getting them checks. Peace.
I'll start with this one, Jalen. First of all, I've been to North Dakota. I've enjoyed myself in Fargo. Fargo gets way more turnt than you think it does.
Shout out.
They've got blackjack tables in every single bar. It is awesome in Fargo. Everyone is so nice. You can just walk up to a stranger and be like, hey, man, can I have $100? They'll be like, oh, well, sure. Okay. It's the best. Secondly, about your question, I have two things for you. Number one, time management. Manage your time. Schedule your time. When you wake up in the morning, you should know what you are doing throughout that day and at what time you are doing it. Because when you manage your time appropriately, you will learn that you can turn that 16-hour day into a 12-hour day. And you say, well, I've got 16 hours of work. Here's the second thing, prioritization. Prioritize the tasks that you have to do. Give yourself a certain amount of time to do them in, and you will make sure that the important things get done, and things that can wait for another time can wait for another time. Mr. Rose, your advice for Kai?
Well said. I don't have much to add. Get a good night's sleep.
Oh.
Usually, if you stay up late, it's going to affect when you get up the next morning. Thus, you're getting off to a later start. Successful people master the morning. Those 4 hours between like 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. in your personal and or professional life, you have to find ways to make them productive other than your actual job, task, business, or whatever makes you tick for a living.
Jalen, that's great advice. Thanks so much for the call. Love North Dakota. Keep listening. Next, we have a Twitter question. It's from James. James wants to know, will Josh Gordon or O.J. Mayo ever be reinstated to their respective sports?
I don't think so. I think once you get banned and that becomes something attached to your name, the league would probably welcome you back. But as the time continues to progress, the days, the weeks, the months, the seasons, it truly becomes less likely.
Well done. Next question is from Uncle Mar on Twitter. Question is, soft move or boss move? If you're over the age of 30, wearing your jersey tucked in.
Well, here's one of those things. Like I said earlier, when we were talking about player, it's all about how you use the word. When you're watching basketball played on multiple levels, guess where their jerseys are?
They make you tuck your jersey in. Like this didn't happen to me in rec leagues until about 10, 13 years ago, where now it's like a rec league dress code. Like there's the NBA dress code, and now like the referee will stop the game and make you tuck your jersey in. But if you are just casually wearing a jersey, not playing basketball, and it's tucked in, that's a soft move. Let's listen to another voicemail. Remember, you can call 985-80-JALEN and leave us voicemails.
Dan calling from Portland, originally a Michigander. Been a huge fan of Jalen since I was in 7th grade, watching the Fab Five destroy everyone on my spring break. Begged my mom for a pair of black socks, which I never took off, and I still only wear black socks to this day. Jacoby, wanted to give you a shout-out because I am a daily bike commuter. And Reggie, if you would, please hit the brakes. That's what it sounded like one night when I was driving home when somebody ran a stop sign and nailed me while I was listening to my Jalen and Jacoby podcast. And later on, one of the witnesses asked why I was laughing after my bike was destroyed and I was hurt, and I just responded, Jacoby. So I don't know what you said, but thank you for always making me laugh. Love you guys. Big fan. My question is, what do the Blazers need to bring to Portland to help the Mama's boys out? Shout out. Thanks for everything. Keep getting them checks. Appreciate what you guys do. Making me laugh every day when I ride my bike to and from work. Cheers.
Shout out to you. Two things I love, bike commuters in Portland, Oregon. Shout out. Let's get to his question, though, Jalen. How can the Portland Trail Blazers get better, get to the next level, and test the top of the Western Conference?
Balance. They have one of the most explosive offensive backcourts in the game with Dame Dollar and obviously C.J. McCollum, both 20-plus point scorers. They haven't figured out necessarily what they're going to do on the wing. I like what Nurkic brings to the table. He's a lot more confident and cocky than people realize. To go with the fact that he's going to be able to fill up the stat sheet. They found their anchor. Their guy that's going to get them 15 to 20, that's going to get them around 10 boards, that's going to possibly get them around 4 or 5 assists. Now they have to figure out what's happening on the wing. And in a salary cap driven sport, players that you give big contracts to, in their case, Crabbe, Evan Turner, Myers Leonard, you need those players to truly be productive. Mo Harkless. So if you could parlay a few of those guys into one player, say like a Paul George, now you're truly in the business.
Thanks so much for the call. Let's listen to another voicemail.
Jalen Jacoby. What up, though? Or is how we say in that dirty boot where I'm from, what it do? So I just got done watching Game 1, Warriors Spurs. And Aldridge stole the ball, went on a fast break. I about died laughing watching him run down the floor, but it made me think, who would win a race between Aldridge and Channing Frye? They have to be the two slowest players in the NBA. And Jacoby, do you think Jalen could beat them, either one of them racing? Or is he too out of shape now? Keep getting them checks.
Well, I love the call. I love the dirty boot. But you've disrespected so many slow NBA players in the game today. Like Roy Hibbert right now is so happy that he wasn't mentioned in this. You know, you got Boris Diaw sipping coffee in France being like, hey, what? Talking about LaMarcus Aldridge. Like, there are a lot slower players out there than Channing Frye and LaMarcus Aldridge. However, I would say LaMarcus Aldridge's gait concerns me a little bit. Like, he runs kind of loosey-goosey. You know, he doesn't run like a top-notch athlete. And me, you know, I'll take a little something like that and blow it into something bigger. Be like, oh, the reason he can't be a first option on an NBA championship team is because of his gait. Secondly, I forgot his second question. Thank you so much for the call. I've got a really good Twitter question here from Dax. Soft move or boss move? Spurs fans complaining about Zaza's dirty play when they have 3 rings with Bruce Bowen doing the same thing. This is not lost on us here.
It's not what I've done, it's what I'm doing. At this point, it's a boss move because that has zero effect on this year's squad.
So Greg Popovich was very angry, very emotional, and upset about Zaza's play. But was he the coach when Bruce Bowen was playing at the Spurs?
Yes, he
was,
did.
right?
Yes,
and
indeed.
Was Bruce Bowen basically making the slide the foot under a jump shot play his bread and butter go-to? Did that happen under Popovich's watch? Do you think Greg Popovich watched any of the tape of those games and noticed that Bruce Bowen was doing this? Do you think that, Mr. Rose? Do you think that it's lost on him?
I'm pretty sure he saw the footage.
I'm pretty sure that it's not lost on Greg Popovich that Bruce Bowen used to do this. So it is an interesting filter from which to listen to his words today. However, I think that a part of what Coach Popovich did today was true passion. I also think a part of it is let me get some calls in Game 2. Let me see if I can get a little suspension on somebody on the other side of the team. Let me just do everything I can to help my team win because we are going to start Jonathan Simmons and Kyle Anderson in Game 2. We have another voicemail.
Jalen Jacoby, what up, though? It's your boy Sam representing 305 Miami and still rocking Costco colors. Also, I do rock with Cricket Wireless. But I do have a question for Jacoby. Soft move or boss move? Quitting Sam's Club, even though your name is Sam, and rocking with Costco. Thanks, man. Give the people what they want.
Let me tell you about my weekend. I put on my Kirkland underwear, put on my Kirkland t-shirt, went to a function, and had 3 slices of Kirkland pizza. So if you're going to ask me about whether it's a soft move or boss move to get Costco in your life, you know the answer is boss move. Really appreciate that voicemail. We're going to end with this last Twitter question. It's a very important question.
Also, I have to say something to the last caller, too. We love our sponsors. Can I get some Crickets, Red?
Yes!
Like, seriously, we love Cricket around here. Cricket is the best phone service company that has ever been created.
I love
Can we get more Crickets?
I love
more
Cricket Wireless. I love Cricket Wireless so much. When I find a cricket has snuck into my house and I can't sleep because it's making that noise while it's in my room, I usher that cricket outside of the house. I do not hurt the cricket because that's how involved I am with Cricket Wireless. That's how passionate I am about this wireless data that they provide to me.
And I'm so passionate about cricket, I'm about to go there right now and take a picture with my life-size poster.
I need to see one of these life-size posters. Please do so. I'm so passionate about Cricket Wireless, I refuse to go to that Seattle ballpark and eat crickets because crickets are my brothers, and Cricket Wireless is the best wireless plan out. One last final tweet we have from High Contrast. Jalen, I want your immediate response to this because it's a very important topic.
Okay.
Ordering ice cream as a cone in a cup. Soft move or boss move?
Soft move.
Oh, that's a boss move.
You lost me.
So here's the thing. What was Jay-Z and R. Kelly's album called, Jalen Rose?
Best of both worlds.
That is what a cone in a cup is.
Best of
You get the best of both worlds.
Oh.
Your hands don't get messy. You can eat it as long as you want. You get the spoon. You get the crunch and mush combination. It's the best of both worlds. That's exactly what it is. Great job by you, High Contrast. That is a boss move. Terrible job by you, Jalen Rose, by suggesting that it is a soft move.
Please tweet at our show or either one of us and tell us if y'all think what he just said is a boss move or a soft move. I think it's a soft move personally.
Here's the thing. The ultimate boss move is listening to Jalen Jacoby podcast, subscribing to it, going on iTunes and leaving ratings and leaving reviews. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow, whether we have a radio show or not, because on this show we